Welcome, everybody. This episode, we're going to talk about the cage system. We're going to learn to open up our entire fretboard from one end to the other and break free of any constraints that have been keeping us from being the best musician that we can be. So, let's get at it. What is the cage system? Well, first of all, the cage system changed my life when I learned it. It was unbelievable. It was like taking blinders off. I suddenly understood the entire instrument. It's not to say that there's only one way to unlock the fretboard. This is the way I did it. There are many systems out there, but the cage system for me is very easy because it's visual. Well, first of all, the name caged, C-A-G-E-D. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's a way of connecting your fretboard using chord shapes. And chord shapes to me are super easy to remember as opposed to position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't have much visual imagery to me. I keep forgetting which one is 3 and which one is 5 and which one's 4. But the cage system, the C shape is always the C shape, the A shape is always the A shape, the G shape is always the G shape, the E is always the E shape, and the D is always the D shape, which connects you back to the C shape. Now, I know this is a lot to take in, but I'm going to provide you with a bunch of diagrams, and we're going to go through this one step at a time. So let's really get into this. We're just going to work with the pentatonic scales because there's less notes here to worry about, but the principles are exactly the same with your pentatonic scales or your major scales. It's all the same thing. So let's assume that we're in the key of C. Our first position would be the C shape, and we need to know where our tonics are on this. So the tonic for the C chord in first position is this, right? Now, if we were to stay with the same tonic and we were to build a shape called the A shape, which would be exactly the same thing as taking an A chord in open position here in first position and bringing it up, because the reason it's called A is because, again, the tonic is this A note right here and that A note right there. So we were in C before, okay, so we're still in C because our tonic is still C, but we're going to use the A shape. So all we've done is we've moved this A shape from here up to the C position. So you see how we're still in the same key as we were in. Right? Now from here we have tonic, tonic. So C, A, the next one is G. So off of this, just like this would be G in open position. Here's your tonic, here's your tonic, and here's your tonic, right? If you don't follow me, we'll have to learn the notes on the guitar neck because this is very important that you understand this. We have the C shape, we have the A shape, and based off of this, we're going to build the G shape. See how we're still in the same key of C? We have gone C, C, C. Now the next one after this, so here is your tonic. So off of this, after the G comes the E shape. So we build just like the E shape here. This is your tonic, that's your tonic, and that's your tonic. So we take this and we raise this up to C. And there you have it. So we go from C, A, G, E. Now, our tonics here are, so off of this, let me build a D chord, a D shape, which is basically this chord right here. Here is your tonic, here's your tonic, right? And I'm just moving this all the way up to C. And then, seeing as this is my tonic right here, well, I just make my C shape, and I've come full circle. Here's the A shape, here's the G shape. It's getting a little hard to do these chords up here. The point is not to play chords in odd positions. Every shape in the cage system, there is a corresponding scale that goes with it. And this is how we connect up the neck. So the C shape, if we were to express this in a pentatonic scale, would be like this. I'll put the diagrams up. It would be... We always want to end our tonic so we really know where we are. Now, in the second position, in the A shape, the pentatonic shape is expressed thusly. Right? And then the next one is the G shape. And the G shape now this is what most people would call position 1 of the pentatonic scale. It's also the basis of the minor pentatonic scale. We'll go into that at another point, but what I want to make clear right now is how these hook up. So this is what people would traditionally call position 1, I believe. I can never remember. This is why I use the cage system. So that's the G shape, and then the E shape, which comes next to that, is expressed which would be position 2, I presume, or I assume. So here we go. We're up to E. You see how easy this is? And then the final one would be the D, which would be so. We also want to end on the tonic, so. And then that brings us back to the C shape and the A shape, because we're up above the octave, so. And, sorry. And I have one more. So here you have it. That is how caged hooks up the entire neck. Now that we've learned this in C, and it's all, but see, we have to see, we have to distinguish between the key that we're playing in and the chord shape that we're playing it in. This is in C because the tonic of all of these shapes is C. Right? If we were to change that tonic to, say, D, so then, here we go. I'm still taking the same C-shaped chord, and I'm calling it, instead of C, C sharp, I'm calling it D. So now our C shape would be as such. Which is probably a little bit better than using C because there's no open strings. This can be applied to any key anywhere on the neck. And I would suggest, very strongly suggest, that while you're learning these and while you're practicing these shapes, that most of them occur over a 4-fret span. So we will have... And I strongly suggest to work on your dexterity and the facility with these is that you apply one finger to each fret. And instead of doing something like, I would say just keep your hand in this exactly same position. All right, and then the next one would be the A shape, because we're taking the tonic right here of the D, and we're just connecting it to the next shape, which is A. So this is the C shape, this is the A shape. It's that easy. And then we go up to the G shape. It couldn't be easier. Always end on the tonic. So here you have it. That's the Cage system. It is that simple. It's no more complicated than that. And for me, it changed my life. It's visual, it's easy to remember, and there's a trick to it. It's caged, C-A-G-E-D. It couldn't be simpler. My name is Dwayne Dixon, aka Double D. This has been this episode of Double D's Rock School. Thank you for spending this time with me. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Leave your comments. Did you get value from this? Do you think that we're putting out good stuff here? Let me know what systems you use to hook up your neck. This is just the one that I use. This is the one that resonates with me. But what's important is not that you pick my system. What's important is that you pick a system that resonates with you and that really motivates you to play the guitar, that motivates you to pick it up and practice, and most of all, motivates you to make music. This week I've been playing my Morphone Quarzo prototype guitar. Thank you, Ren Buffoni, for saving this guitar for me. It is very dear to my heart. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. Check out Morphone Guitars. They're doing it right. See you next time.